today's presentation is When Reason Fails Us, Bigotry, Transphobia, and the Crisis of Humanist Integrity, the Dark Side of Modern Atheism and Humanism. Well, I'm sure you can all read. Just give me a second. Yes.
Well, they can put it in full screen presentation.
Can I do that? Yes.
Oh, yes, I think it's better.
Okay. So I would like to start with a land acknowledgement. So I would like to begin by acknowledging that I am presenting this talk from the territory of the Mississauga of the Credit First Nation, part of the Anishinaabe Nation and the traditional lands of the Huron-Wendat, Haudenosaunee, and other indigenous people. The land is covered by Treaty 13 and the Williams Treaties, agreements that were made to be honored but have too often been broken. The injustices of colonization are not just historical, they continue today through land theft, systemic racism, and the erasure of indigenous voices. As a French immigrant and settler on this land, I recognize that I have benefited from systems I was not born into, but that I know live within. I carry a responsibility to educate myself, to listen to indigenous voices, and to support sovereignty, restitution, and justice in meaningful ways. So I would like to start also this presentation by saying that there will be some trigger warnings during the presentations. There will be some references to transphobia, misogyny, sexual misconduct, and institutional bigotry. There will be direct quotes, screenshots with advance warning. If you do not wish to see those, you will know in advance what they are going to be about. And for all the slides with the trigger warnings, there will be like a red band on the top. So if you do not wish to see them, you can like go away or hide the window. And whenever the red band disappears, you are free to come back. And please, if you need to look away, step out, like your well-being matters, please do so. So introduction. So who the hell am I? Why am I talking to you today? So I'm Sarah Coudert, 29 years old. I'm a French immigrant. I use she, her pronouns. I consider myself as a critical thinker and humanist. I'm a lifelong atheist, except this one time, but it's a long story. I'm wife to an awesome trans woman that you can see here. Look,
I don't know if people can see us.
I think no, I think they can. I am neurodivergent. I have ADHD and autism, and I am part of the QSL LGBTQIL plus myself as a biromantic person and a homosexual person. So what it means to be a humanist, at least for me. Well, don't be an asshole. That's a good one to start with, I guess. Don't use poor Darwin to be a jerk. When you have the choice, be kind. And when you don't, rebel and be kind anyway. You should care about humans as a whole, like human being in general, and also about each and every individuals. Respect people. Remember that we are just baboon with big brain and try to be good and humble with that big brain. Like we were not meant to go to the moon. We were meant to like use stone tools. And sometimes it's good to like remember that and value facts and empathy whenever you can. So what's the problem then? Why am I making this whole presentation stuff? For some people, being an atheist, a humanist, it means leaving religion to become my own god. It means I can insult you and you should thank me for it because I am representing free speech, you know? Or I have mastered critical thinking. I can never be biased ever again. I know everything about bias there is to know. And I like read those books once. And so now I can never, ever stop critically thinking. Like I am critically thinking when I'm sleeping, you know, like some people think like in those terms. So what you gonna do about it? Like what is this whole presentation about? I am trying to try to critically examine admire figures in atheism and secular humanism who has betrayed the values they claim to uphold. That's a lot to chew on. We have only half an hour, but I'm going to do my best. I count on you to do some of the work outside of this presentation. Like this is far from going to be enough, but that's what I claim I'm going to try to do. So let's talk about Center for Inquiry US and the Richard Dawkins Foundation. Oh no, don't tell me they are bad guys. Yep, they are. And literally, they are only guys on their board. Like they have 2 women on their honorary board thingy, but it's like just honorary stuff. There are not actual women taking decisions on there. So what happened? Why am I saying that those guys are bad guys? Like, where are those that come from? Well, we have to first look at who is Jerry Coyne. So Jerry Coyne, the guy who wrote one good book in his life and that is known for it. So he's an American biologist and skeptic. He's professor emeritus at the University of Chicago in the Department of Ecology and Evolution. He has published numerous papers on the theory of evolution, and he's a fellow with the Committee for Skeptical Inquiry. I think most of you maybe already heard about Jerry Coyne. Maybe some of you have already read his book. And then, seemingly unrelated, an innocent article was published somewhere on the Freedom from Religion Foundation website. Kat Grant, a non-binary person, published What is a Woman? This is an article that talks about, like, globally, First Nations, oh, that's so hard word to say, colonialism, gender, and what it means to be a woman. But remember, gender and what it means to be a woman is but one part of the article. This is a long article. Oh, and by the way, something I forgot to say. Everything I say will be sourced whenever I can. I've tried to fact check everything. So you will have access to the presentation later, the slides. To have access to all the sources, they will be put at the bottom here. And you are free to like check on them whenever you want. If I say something, if I say a mistake, if there is something that is not accurate, feel free to tell me. I know that people can make mistakes. It's absolutely okay. I am not claiming to be perfect in any shape, way, or form, but like if you see there is a mistake, please let me know. And feel free to check the sources. They are all great sources, except some of them, but well, it will be explicit which ones are not very pleasant to read. So the gender and what it means to be a woman is but a small part of this article. Like it speaks about a lot of different stuff. But apparently this article, oh yeah, trigger warning, transphobia. So the next slide is going to have some transphobic quotes on them. So if you wish to step out of the screen and wait until the red band on the top has disappeared, feel free to do so. I will leave a few seconds. All right. So apparently this article pissed off Coyne. So these all are quotes from an article he wrote. This article was first published on the Freedom from Religion Foundation as like, how would you say, droit de réponse?
Like answering the other article?
Yeah, answering the other article. Like, oh, this article has been written, so I have the right to answer it. So those are some quotes. I am not going to read all of them, but just like the things that are in bold are, I think, already a good way to see the kind of stuff that he said. He said, for example, that transgender women, of course, because like you know, like for transphobic people, transgender men do not exist. They appear to be twice as likely as natal male and at least 14 times as likely as natal females to be sex offenders. He also claimed that over 600 female athletes in more than 400 competitions have lost more than 890 medals to transgender women in 29 different sports. He also said that trans women should not be placed in women's prison. Like, look at this cutie patootie. Should she be placed in the men's prison? I will let you be the judge of that. So yeah, so pretty horrendous stuff. Like the whole article is in this slide. It's a horrendous article to read if you want to like grasp a bit more like what Jerry Coyne said and think this is like pretty telling. So what did Freedom from Religion say about that article? Because it was published on their website. Well, shortly after, I think a week or so after, they removed Coyne's article from their website. They posted a new one signed by co-president Dan Baker and Annie Laurie Gaylor, expressing their explicit support for LGBTQIA plus rights. And they also apologized for causing distress to the trans community, basically, and like the LGBTQIA plus community. So once again, you have the article just on the bottom of the page here, if you'd like. But Coyne was far from being done. Following this, Jerry Coyne, Steven Pinker, and Richard Dawkins, all three of them resigned from Freedom from Religion Foundation's honorary board. The article was then republished in Free Inquiry that belongs to CFI US with an editor's note that is amazing. I will just read it for you. You will see like this is chef's kiss. At Free Inquiry, two of our key values are the values of free speech and respectful fact-based debate. We believe Cohen's essay presents a well-reasoned, scientifically based analysis of some transgender controversies, and we are pleased to present it. Remember these quotes. Something tell me it ain't a well-reasoned, scientifically based article at all. And so we have a renowned biologist and skeptic that publishes a controversial article in which he says trans women should go to men's prison, that they are 14 times more dangerous than cis women, among other things that he says. The article has been then shared and defended by CFI US as being a well-reasoned, scientifically based analysis, for which 3 board members of FFRF resigned, Richard Dawkins included. So when you see all of that, you must be thinking, well, it has to be scientifically backed up with like super duper solid stuff, like the cream of the crop of scientific like publications and stuff like that, right? You cannot, in your right mind, say like during this time where people are being actively against trans people and trying to remove their rights, say this kind of stuff without it being backed up scientifically. And if I may, you shouldn't say that even if it was backed up scientifically speaking. Like this is not the time. Like science can wait a couple years, that's fine. I mean, frankly, like those information, even if they were true, could have waited. But alas, you will see it's even worse than that. So let's take a quick look. Like, for example, the horrendous claim trans women are at least 14 times as likely as natal females to be sex offenders. So it included a website with an openly anti-trans stance, TERF. So TERF are trans-exclusive radical feminists. So they are basically women that say trans women don't count as women, and trans women, because they are putting on the top, like on the front of the scene, are like taking away the spotlight from actual feminism actions. And so we should not consider trans women as being individuals that feminist people should defend, basically. And so this website has shown that their data cannot be reproduced. And it's even worse than that. If when you actually get the data they use, you can see that they've manipulated the data. So it's not only that it's not a neutral and verified, it's a blog, by the way. And it's not only that it's not verifiable, it's like when you check at the actual data, you can see that they've cheated, basically. The second article he used is one from an explicit anti-trans website also, and an alt-right Scottish nationalist blog with data that cannot be checked. Of course, like I say, neither use valid sources or data, and their results can be fact-checked. Yikes. There is this excellent reading about Friendly Atheist that I personally recommend, an excellent bloggist. He also has a YouTube channel that I more than recommend, like very excellent guy, very well argumented, like an example of what being humanists and atheists should be. So I cannot recommend him highly enough. Okay, but there must be at least one good source, right? Like this is an entire article. There has to be something. And then when you look at it, you see, well, for example, the claim that cis women have lost more than 890 medals to transgender women. It's extracted from a official UN report. So when I look at that, I was like, oh, okay, so this is at least an official UN report. So this has to be like something that is based on something, right? And when you actually look at like the report and you look at where this paragraph comes from, you see like on the references, it comes from a website that is called shewon.org. And I was like, okay, so the 890 medals seems already fishy to me. And now the website that reports those is called shewon.org. That's double fishy. So I like just went on the website, look at what they say, and I just like found this article about like debunking this exact fact that the 890 medal stuff. And so basically, Shewon is an anti-trans website. They document sporting events where transgender athletes participated. So they have the shewon.org, but they also have the hecheated.org. Who is he, you say? He are trans women. They misgender on purpose trans women to try to make them appear like they are not women explicitly, like on like the domain name of their website. And they use, so those are all quotes from Erin the Morning, who is a journalist. Once again, the sources are available if you would like to check. So Shewon, like he cheated, used dubious methods to manufacture misleading statistics. The header of She1 homepage comes from a designated head group, and the site includes sports like poker, darts, billiards, I don't know if I pronounced this word correctly, and even competitive oyster shucking. I didn't even know this was something you could compete in, and yet those were making the list. Like, oh, well, hi. And so you would think that those competitions should not be included, like, because oyster shucking surely doesn't require physical. I'm sorry. There are some people that came like in the thing and are asking me to take control of my screen. Well,
All right.
yeah, maybe we shouldn't. Okay, maybe we shouldn't
Okay,
accept.
I'm removing people.
Hello, everybody.
All right, I think I've removed the offenders.
Yeah, maybe we shouldn't accept new people for the presentation.
Yeah, all right. We won't accept anyone.
No
we won't
further.
accept anyone we don't unless we know them.
Okay,
So.
thank you so much. Yes, alas, if you needed like another example that trans people are targeted, I guess that there
That's a
are
good
not.
one. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess there are not a lot of hard presentation when you have people like acting as unhinged during a presentation. Well, alas, but at least I didn't say transphobic stuff. I would take that. You know what? Like, let's see the glass half full. They just acted like baboon with like. Okay, I say baboon with big brains. I may like retract the second part of the big brain claim, but okay. So let's continue. I'm sorry for these interruptions. So nothing is well reasoned and scientifically based. Well, none of the sources come from a trustworthy, scientific, peer-reviewed or neutral source. Like, you will remark that I use the word or, not and. I am that nice of a person, okay? If he used like one trustworthy or scientific or peer-reviewed, well, okay, with who goes with scientific or neutral source, I would be a happy patootie. I would be like super happy. But none of the sources even check one of those very small check boxes. None of them. Like, you can go on the article, you can click on every single link and you will see that they all come from like blogs with unverifiable sources. Like, that's mind-blowing for me. So let's take a look at CFI US downfall into bigotry and transphobia, because it wasn't always this way. And so this comes from an article from my amazing wife, who is there. So those are the articles that CFI wrote. CFI US, once again, CFI Canada are nice guys, CFI US bad guys. You have to remember that. So CFI, they wrote articles, and whenever an article was talking about trans people, we would ask ChatGPT, is this article pro, neutral, or anti-trans, so that our bias would not enter into account. And so, as you can see, they started as being like before 2020, that was pretty nice, pretty okay. And then something happens. And more than half of their articles are anti-trans now, or neutral. So like River say, what do you do if you are trans and involved with CFI? Where you live, you probably don't want to be in a space where people openly advocate for policies that would lead you to being sexually assaulted, falling into depression, or even being driven to suicide. That is not acceptable for you. And as a humanist, this is not acceptable for me. So that's why we left CFI US. So what do? You stop donating to CFI US or the Richard Dawkins Foundation or Free Inquiry. And I am so sorry, Richard, that they share your name, because believe me, like they are a sketchy guy. I'm so sorry. You should have the exclusive right to use the Richard first name from now on, and I will stand by it. So like, for real, like, stop. If you are like donating money, you go right now on their website and you stop doing it. You call your bank and you say you have been scammed so that they withdraw the 6 lakhs months. I don't know, like, say, do something. Instead, give to CFI Canada. They are good guys and they honor the humanist and skeptic communities. And as an example, they have published an article by my amazing wife. Did I say that my wife was amazing before? I'm sure I did, but like, she's that much of an amazing person. It debunks a lot of anti-trans stuff with actual science, peer-reviewed article, neutral and non-predatory scientific reviews, as asked by Center for Inquiry Canada, that actually asked that all like those criteria are met when you publish something on their website, which means that Center for Inquiry US don't, which you would think for a skeptic website is sketchy, like, at least. Yeah, okay, but what do we do now? You are just here to make us feel bad? No, I'm so sorry I'm making you feel bad, but I assure you we can do stuff. We can do stuff. We have like, we have margin of maneuver. First, you have to burn your idols. You take them and you burn them, metaphorically speaking. I don't want to have trouble with the police later. Let's take an example, Richard Dawkins. So this guy, we all know this guy, like, he's an evolutionary biologist, zoologist, science communicator, and author. He won several academic and writing awards. He's a vocal atheist with many worldwide famous books. He founded the Richard Dawkins Foundation for Reason and Science that we've talked about earlier. So this is what we know about him. Like, he's a nice guy, right? Like, he wrote God Delusion and like many books that made people think about their religion and maybe even like make them quit their religion, right? But of course, you guessed it, there is a hidden part of the iceberg. He says transphobic and misogynistic stuff all the time. I wish it wasn't the case, but he does. He has his 1996 award retracted by the American Humanist Association. He was sued for misgendering a woman on X. The person was actually a cis woman. He's associated with predators, bigots, racists, and he co-wrote a book with them about how the woke are destroying science, the war on science. I wished I could talk about this book a bit longer, but unfortunately, this presentation is already long as is, so you will have to look at that for yourself. Believe me, this is as horrendous as it sounds. He left Freedom from Religion Foundation because they removed Jerry Cohen's transphobic article on their site, etc. My slide is unfortunately not infinite. So let's take a closer look. Buckle up, it's going to be a hell of a ride. So this is a tweet in which Richard Dawkins say, okay, you know what? Trump is an evil man. I agree, but Musk is not. He's highly intelligent and diametrically opposed to Trump. He has the welfare of the world at heart. This as aged as fine wine didn't hit. And so trigger warning, yes, transphobia, misogyny, mutilation. So once again, if you need to step out of your screen, please do so now. So this is a fake letter he wrote. Like, there was this woman, she talked with Richard Dawkins and she told him basically, oh, I was stuck in an elevator with a guy and like he was a bit creepy. He invited me to coffee and like it was very creepy and I didn't like it. And he was like, oh, you know, there are some women in the world that have it worse than you. So he wrote this letter basically to illustrate that. So basically what she's saying is that feminism in the Western countries are useless because some women have it worse somewhere else. So already, yikes, but we can go higher, we can do worse. This is on a video he recorded with someone else's, where he says, I don't deny their existence, trans people. What I object to is the statement, a woman can have a penis and a trans woman is a woman, because it's a distortion of the language and a distortion of science. It's also noteworthy to see that in the title of the video, they use the word transgenderism, which is only used by anti-trans people, because it makes it seems like transgenderism is an ism term, you know, like an extremism stuff. Like it's something that you have like an opinion, for example. The only thing I could think of to top it off would be to identify as a dog. Yikes! There might be that someone having a woman's brain in a man's body, but to go from that to saying because you have a female outlook on life or something, therefore you are a woman, I mean, that is just debauching language. Also, yikes. Why not identify as anything you want? Even the title is yikes. That's yikes everywhere for me. But we can go do worse. So I wanted to go on X and look at like tweets from Richard Dawkins where he says transphobic stuff. I scrolled 3 seconds before finding this horrendous stuff. So as you can see, dates from last month, so very, very recent, where he calls trans people, trans women, aggressively dominant male mammals. They think they are women. Yikes. But can you imagine a better walking, talking, reeking advertisement for toxic masculinity? Yeah. So yeah, this is the kind of stuff that Dawkins like posts all the time. Yeah, and so yeah, like as my amazing wife told me, the context is those trans people right now, whether it's in the UK or in the US, they are actively being targeted. Like their rights are being removed every single day. There are some stuff that are being removed from them. They are on the streets trying to say, hey, we exist, like we want to be treated as human beings with respects, and we exist, and we are legit, we are valid people, and please stop trying to, I don't know, like make our life miserable because you think we shouldn't exist. And so they are going in the streets to protest for their own rights. And Richard Dawkins, that's all he has to say about it. I mean, that's bad, right? That's not okay to act like that in this time right now. And it already wasn't okay even 10 years ago, but right now it's even worse. So why it is super bad? Because we need more allies, not less. Alienating trans and queer people from secular spaces when they need us and when we need them, like, even if we think only from a rational point of view, it's not very clever. We could have more people on our side. We could have like more people to do stuff, more voices to talk like in our stand, like we could have them. And they need us. They need a community. They need anchors. And to think that we could not be there for them, neither could they be there for us, it doesn't sound very clever for me and not very humanist. And also we are to be used as an example for the rest of the world. Skeptics should know that reason can't mean cruelty without accountability, and humanists should know that being humanist includes caring for every human being, even the asshole that you don't like. They are human beings and they count. They deserve respect and happiness. And even if they are assholes, maybe they deserve a little slap sometimes, but that's fine. Like they still deserve to live and be happy. We have to self-regulate ourselves and hold accountable people that betray the values we uphold. And our words are being weaponized by the people we seek to debunk. Like this is the Deseret News, that is a journal owned by the Mormon Church, is using Richard Dawkins and Jerry Cohen's stance on gender to say that, you see, even atheist people agree with us. We cannot be wrong. Like transgender people, they don't exist, right? Like gender ideology is dumb, right? Like even atheist people say it. And oh yeah, they are cited by Fox News too. Oh, yikes, that's not good when you are cited by Fox News. You know you messed up somewhere. And like a third example, yeah, the Christian Institute, because why the hell not? Also, Dawkins quits a CEO's group for censoring biological definition of sex. And those are only 3 examples I've put. I could have put a dozen of those. Like really, like there are dozens of people that we seem to debunk, like that are using their words to think that that's what atheist and humanist people think. They have access to massive media outlets and outreach. Like this is an article by Jerry Cohen where basically he trash talk trans people. And look at those, 94 comments just on this article. Imagine like if one person out of, I don't know, 100, 200 comments, how many people does that make that have read this article on the Wall Street Journal? And why the victims, they have their own blogs. So this is Kat Grant, the non-binary person Jerry Cohen attacked in his article, where Kat say basically trans women are women, among other stuff. And you can see that the article has 0 comments. Like they are not very well known. Their blog are just their blog. And that's all they have. And I can't even talk about everything. Like the War on Science book. I wish I could talk about this. Steven Pinker, asshole. I wish I could talk about it. This James Linsley, also like very disappointed about this guy. Lawrence Krauss, the man that like edited the book, also hopeful, say something like, I do not feel, what did he say? Oh yeah, I don't feel tarnished in any way by my relationship with Jeffrey as Jeffrey Epstein. I feel raised by it. Yikes. So yeah, many things I could have talked about. And I fear my time is already nearly up, so I'm going to speed up a bit. Conclusion. Oh, nice. So who can I try?
Sorry, Sarah, I was going to say, if you want to go over, it's not a problem.
Okay,
So
thank you.
don't feel you have to rush, please.
Thank you.
Okay.
So who can I trust now? So good thing that there are some humanist associations that signed a statement to reaffirm their commitment to LGBTQIA plus rights. And you can begin there. When those had signs, wink, 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 wink. I actually don't know if you can sign, so maybe this is just wishful thinking, but there are at least a bunch of humanist association in there. FFRF is one of them. The Clergy Project is also one of them. So if you need like some examples of nice people, you can absolutely begin there. If you have more money now that you have stopped donating to CFI US and Richard Dawkins Foundation, because you did, right? Right, you did. And so now you can maybe transfer those money to those guys. What will I do personally as a person, me, talking right now to you? So I still consider myself as an atheist, a skeptic, and a humanist. Those are labels that are very dear to me, and I will keep using them because I do not think that because some people tarnished a label I identify as, I should stop using it. But I learned that by staying humble and compassionate, I reduce my chances of becoming an old, bitter person that spouts nonsense and hate on social media. And great news, so can you, if you just follow maybe those like small recommendation. What should we do as humanists? So this is the big slide. If you have to remember one slide, this is the slide. Like screenshot it, print it, put it on top of your bed so that you see it when you wake up. I don't care. Like this is the thing you have to remember from this presentation. What can we do to stop it from happening again? Or at least try to prevent it as much as we can. We should stop platforming toxic figures regardless of their scientific credentials. When we see bullshit, we should call it out. We should say, this is not true. This is not correct. What you are saying, let's try to fact check this. This is wrong. And also we should know that clever people are wrong too sometimes. Like how many times did it happen that a Nobel Prize suddenly say dumb stuff about subject they are not expert on, and sometimes even subject they are experts on? Because someone is clever on what subject does not mean that they are on others. And usually it actually means they're not. We have to build communities rooted in both reason and compassion. We shouldn't judge lives we haven't lived. Like even myself living with a trans person, I sometimes don't understand entirely what River is going through. And that's fine. I do not judge because I am not living her life. It's her life. And that also goes along with the next point. Believe minorities and victims by default. If someone tells you I have been victim of racism or of transphobia, or if they say this is how I feel my own gender, this is the label I use, just believe them by default. Like it's better to believe people and then realize that, I don't know, it was an exaggeration or they told you that for XYZ than like refusing to believe people that are like that really are trusting you by telling those kind of things to you. And also like this is maybe more for HAT association organization that are like today allowing people to make presentation or talk about subjects. We have to center marginalized voices in discussions of ethics, policy, and progress. We have, whenever it's possible, to involve people from communities we are going to talk about. CFI US, in their articles, even the ones that are pro-trans, they have been wrote by cis people that maybe have like all the trans people well-being at heart, maybe perhaps, but like you have to include as much as you can people from the communities you're going to talk about. If you are going to make an article about Black Lives Matters, it's best that you have people of color included so that you know that you are not saying stuff because from your point of view of a white person, you think this is correct and actually it may not be. And also, very important, we have to stay humble and accept that sometimes we don't know or we don't understand stuff. And that's fine. Asking questions is fine. That's what as skeptic and humanist we should do. We already question ourselves about religion. This is a big one. Like if you say, I don't understand something about, I don't know, people from First Nation and I have to ask question, you already did like much bigger. You question your religion. You question the thing that like the majority of people in Canada are right now. You can go and write an email like to a First Nation association or organization and ask them question. You can do that. And so thank you. This concludes my presentation. And like I say, yes, you did it. You are my favorite person now. I hope it was nice because you deserve only the best.